actually going to move this over here.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, good deal.
Oh, that's great, cedar board. It would be the attorney. Yeah. Hi, Sal. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Supervisor Brandow.
Here.
Supervisor Magsic.
Here.
Supervisor Mendez.
Here.
Supervisor Pacheco.
Here.
Chairman Quintero.
Here.
All present. Thank you.
Welcome to the Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 meeting of the Fresno County Board of Supervisors. We'll begin today's meeting with the invocation and flag salute. The invocation will be led by District 2, and following the invocation, please remain standing for the flag salute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a special pastor today because he's one of the pastors at my church, and it's Pastor Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine, if you could come open some prayer, and I wanted to tell a little side story. Jermaine and his wife, Ashley, and Ashley sitting in the back, are relatively new to Northwest Church, but doing a fantastic job leading and guiding a lot of activities at the church. And Ashley jumped in also and took over a greeting program, and she needed like 25 volunteers, and I'm one of those 25 volunteers to greet people as they come on the church campus. So they've been a wonderful addition to the church that I attend. Jermaine, if you could open us in prayer, and then we'll do a flag salute, and I'd invite everybody to stand for the prayer and flag salute.
Let's bow our heads. Lord God, I thank you so much for just bringing us all in here today. I pray right now that every voice is heard, every idea is understood. We pray, Lord Father God, for every leader in our community. We pray for every leader in this building. Lord, we pray that our city grows and our city gets better through what happens in this room. We pray, Lord God, that you have your way in whatever it is you want to do. I pray that our city wins. I pray that our city wins not by the world standards, but our city wins by heavenly standards. I pray that your kingdom come, Lord. I pray that your will is done in our city. Our city is full of good people, of good leaders. And we pray that we come together and we become one of the best cities known to man. In Jesus' name, amen. Let us pray. Let us flag salute.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agendas are located on the table at the back of the chamber for anyone wishing to follow along. Item 1, Clerk.
Item number 1, approve agenda. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, item 7 on your regular agenda is deleted and will return back to the board on June 6th.
Are there any comments from the board members at this time? Okay.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion passes. Item 2.
We now move to item number 2, approve consent agenda item numbers 18 through 54. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, item 32 from your consent agenda is deleted and will return at a later date.
These matters are routine in nature and are usually approved by a single vote. Are there any members of the board that would like an item removed from the consent for discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like
Supervisor Brandow.
I'd like to pull item 51, please.
Okay. Supervisor Pacheco.
Mine was the same, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any members of the public that would like an item removed for discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 3.
We now move to item number 3, under Chairman Quintero, proclaim May 21st through May 27, 2023 as Public Works Weeks.
Well, there'll be more to be said from the dais, but meantime, we'll have Mr. Steve White step forward.
Chairman, if you give us a moment, we'll bring up our graphic on this one. And Bernice, thank you very much for the help yesterday on getting this up and running. So this year, we're celebrating Public Works Week, not just as a Public Works Week, but as a Public Works and Planning Week. Most of the members on the board now understand we're an integrated department, so Bernard's going to do the bulk of the presentation today. But if you look at your graphics we gave you on your dais today, we hope you display those in your offices. It's connecting the world. So our department connects the world. It connects the organization. It connects with roads and bridges throughout the area itself. And yes, we did take this from the APWA graphic and put it on brushed aluminum for your offices. And Supervisor Brandow, we thought you'd like the colors. They're very stunning. So we hope you display it in your offices. So today is not just Public Works Week, it's Public Works and Planning Week. The planning component of what our department does is very sophisticated, very integrated, and we have members of our team here in the audience today. So with that, I want to step aside and let Bernard do the bulk of the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Bernard Jimenez, Planning and Resource Management Officer. So, as Steve mentioned, today we're going to focus on the department's Planning and Resource Management divisions. There's basically 3 of them. Kind of talk about a little bit about some of the functions and the diversity of what we do as a department. So the men and women that carry out these programs and services are in our communities. We're meeting with residents to improve living conditions, homes and neighborhoods, facilitating development through processing of building, land use and subdivision entitlements, navigating the complex federal and state regulatory environment to ensure our solid waste and recycling programs are being implemented, and developing strategies, policies, and programs for the long-term sustainability of our water and forest resources. So the first division that I'd like to highlight today is our Water and Natural Resources and Community Development Division. This division is highlighted by Augie Ramirez, and Augie has been instrumental alongside Supervisor Mendez and Pacheco in leading the county's efforts to ensure compliance with the state's Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. The program here locally consists of 21 groundwater sustainability agencies, administration of 13 groundwater sustainability plans that cover approximately 1 million acres and make up 4 groundwater subbasins. Assisting Augie in this effort is Senior Planner Roy Jimenez. Roy is our eyes and ears in terms of SIGMA. Roy participates and represents the county and the department on all the technical and policy advisory committees. Roy is also responsible for oversight of our 15 active mines. So another significant function is the oversight of our forest management programs. We're partnering with the Department of Public Health. The county has been able to secure approximately $20 million in grant funding to address tree mortality and creek fire cleanup. So to date, approximately 40 dead or dying trees have fallen. Supervisor Mazik has been instrumental and heavily involved in this effort and has really advocated for resources in this area and has really done an excellent job of communicating to his constituency out in the Eastern Foothill areas about the activities that are ongoing, especially most recently as it relates to our storm response. Transportation planning is another function within this division. It's headed by our relatively new senior planner, Hector Luna. Hector has hit the ground running in his new position and has already elevated our ability to conduct transportation impact analysis. So Hector and his team has incorporated something called synchro modeling, which allows the county to input data and animate transportation impacts. We've used that for the new Clovis Education Campus, and we're able to identify pinch points in and around the campus as a result of the transportation models. This allows us to then identify mitigation to our transportation system. Our general plan implementation team, positions that were added by your board in fiscal year 21-22, is headed by Principal Planner Yvette Quiroga, and she's responsible for oversight of our numerous programs to implement our general plan. So in addition to that, her team has been working on guidelines and measures that will be brought to your board on how we update our unincorporated community plans. In addition, Yvette and her staff have been working tirelessly on developing our six-cycle housing element. Administration of the county's Community Development Block Grant and Home Grant, which funds infrastructure projects and affordable housing within our unincorporated communities and our partner cities, is administered by Senior Staff Analyst Jonathan Avedian and Jennifer Kirkpatrick. Millions of dollars have been invested into our communities, both in the cities and in the unincorporated communities through these programs. So moving on to resources. Resources is headed by our newly appointed division manager, Dan Allman, which oversees our American Avenue landfill. Currently, they have a $23 million Phase 1 relocation project underway, and it's amazing to see the work that's being done out there today. So recycling programs, parks, and special districts are also embedded within that particular division. The recycling programs, which include the mandated organic waste recovery program is administered by Anne Marie Shelton, and special districts, which includes 130 water, wastewater, lighting, and road districts, is administered by Chris Bump. The parks program, which consists of 18 active and passive parks, is administered by Chris Bernal. So the third and final division is our development services and capital projects. That division is headed by Division Manager Will Kettler and oversees the county's building permitting and inspection, zoning and code enforcement, subdivision, and land use entitlement programs. Last year, Development Services issued over 8,000 permits in these categories, as well as accepted over 1,200 plan checks for new construction. Finalization of these projects, as you know, allows our assessor's office to enter these projects into their assessment program, which directly generates property tax revenue for this county. Code enforcement is administered by recently hired senior planner Elise Harrison, who oversees new positions that were added by your board in 2022. I'm proud to announce that since the beginning of this year, they've already closed out over 200 active violation cases. And Elise looks forward to continuing with that progress moving forward. In addition, Will and his team oversees the county's capital program, which includes over 20 active capital projects worth over an estimated $80 million in construction. This includes our West Annex Jail, Sheriff's Substation, and Ag Commissioner's Office. So in closing, while today we've taken the opportunity to highlight our planning and resource management divisions, our public works staff is second to none. They're award-winning, and the response that they've had this year with our unprecedented storms has been amazing and outstanding. So today we celebrate our staff. We thank your board and the CEO's office for your continued leadership and support for the Department of Public Works and Planning. Thank you.
In close out board, just this last weekend, we placed over 450 super shacks in the river. Tasked with OES, going through the process itself. We spooled up, deployed. We were getting it down to where we're building one super shack, about 1,500 pounds every minute. We have staged, we have programmed, we have shown you what our capacities are going to be, and you saw in the video today some of the new equipment we have. We have a blower second to none. It's up there chewing it through the roads right now, and we're going to continue to do what this board tasks us to do every time, every time. Thank you.
Mr. White, before I make a motion to provide the proclamation and ask you to come forward to receive it. What I'd like is to see if we have any comments from the board members, starting with Supervisor Mendez.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you've put a great team together over the last 5 years. I mean, you've had internally some great people, but I just want to make the statement that I can go anywhere with Augie in the water world, and he is respected by a lot of people, people that know, technical people, you know, in the water world. He's very well respected. I'm always proud to take him with me.
Thank you.
Supervisor Magzik.
Yeah, it's apropos that we are recognizing our Public Works Department this week because just last week, our county received a letter from a very thankful individual who was rescued in February who lives in Wonder Valley near Mill Creek. And when Mill Creek had swelled and actually was flowing over the roadway that runs through Wonder Valley, they became trapped, and so they were rescued by CAL FIRE, and the work that our public works crews for several weeks after that to repair roadways and assist residents was so impactful to this particular family that they hand wrote a note just thanking our public works crews. So again, really appreciate all that Steve and his team does in public works.
Supervisor Pacheco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While I will like to recognize District 5 with Supervisor Magsig, over the last 2 years has been a pretty high-maintenance district and has monopolized most of your time. I do appreciate for all that you've done for District 1. While the city people can appreciate the permits, those of us in the rural part, the roads are instrumental. You've put new roads in an unincorporated community of Tranquility, which hadn't been done in over 2 decades, with more to come. You started and are almost completing a new water project in Cantua Creek for the residents out there. And as we continue to go with the ongoing flooding, the residents of Fireball and Mendota are completely grateful for everything Public Work has done in order to preserve their homes and their businesses and their way of life. So we appreciate everything that your department has done for District 1.
Thank you.
Supervisor Brandow.
Yeah, thank you. Stephen Bernard, great job on this, but I do notice that I don't think you chose me as a model for any of these people on here. There's nobody bald-headed and...
We couldn't get on your calendar fast enough.
But, you know, I want to thank you for all the things that you do in District 2. Just yesterday, so I'm only talking about yesterday, I watched a video about how the super sacks were being lifted into the San Joaquin River to reinforce the shoreline so that we don't have erosion of property, which we've already seen some of. And so you're really protecting people's property in Fresno County and then even potentially lives, honestly. So those are real big things, and that video was full of big things. But then last evening, a very small thing, we had a meeting at Tenaya Park, which they are in need of some upgrades. And probably about 25 folks from the community came out to this little park, and we just had a conversation. But you had Chris Bump there and kind of oversaw a part of that conversation. And so just took time after hours to come out and meet with the community. So from the big things to the small things, I appreciate everything that you folks pull off.
Thank you.
And Bernard, thank you for the good presentation. I see that you mentioned a lot of names in the department that have done a lot of the work. And if there's any members from Public Works here, would you please stand up if you're in the audience? I think you deserve a big hand of applause for the work. And you know, one of the the things that I've always believed in is you know, you're doing a good job, because one of the most important thing to constituents and the people that we represent is, to me, is when they wake up in the morning and what they see out their front window. If they see that the street isn't repaired, roads, public buildings, parks, solid waste, public works projects, if they see those things aren't getting taken care of, then their thoughts are going to be, how are the supervisors going to take care of a lot bigger things? And so the work that you do is we're really grateful for getting out there as soon as possible whenever we call and say this needs to get repaired, or what do you propose, and what's the plan? And so that's really important to constituents, and that's our job. And as the Public Works Department, I'm really thankful for the response that you have. And personally, I want to thank Public Works because they had recently wrote a grant requesting $4 million from the federal government, and we met with Congressman Costa, who oversaw some of those monies, and the county did a great job in the grant. Your department did a great job in writing that grant. We were awarded $4 million to repair the streets, curbs, and work on some of the alleys, and try to work on additional lighting. It was a good chunk of money for the county portion of those streets that are very old, and it'll help with the gutters, the ADA requirements that we have, and the curbs and sidewalks. So I'm really thankful for all that. And so I know when any of us call, it's a quick, great response, or that we're able to get back to constituents and just update them on it. So I want to thank all the department for the great work that they do. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to proclaim May 21st through May 27th as Public Works Week.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to go out to the public at this time?
Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, everybody's happy.
I'll second your motion.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Mendez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please come forward.
Thank you. Everybody, come on up.
Steve, good job.
So we can do more photoshopping.
Morning, good job. All right, thank you. Good job. Hello, how are you? All right, good to see you. All right. Hey, yeah, totally. Good job. No, thanks for last night. All right. How you doing?
Thank you, Chris.
Good morning. Good morning. Good job. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Morning.
Hey, there he is. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Hello, how are you? Oh, good job. Thank you.
Thank
Yep. Saw your photo was up there, very prominent.
I personally would have cut it,
Yeah,
but
good
yeah.
morning.
Hey, Will.
We always get the tall one, Brando.
Yeah.
Get on my toes. Yeah. It's probably better that way.
I'm not used to seeing you smile, Will.
We now move to item number 4 under Chairman Quintero, proclaim June 2023 Elder and Dependent Adult Abuse Awareness Month.
Okay. Ms. Bouguet?
All right. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Sonia Bouguet, Department of Social Services, and with me are partners and members of my team to help us acknowledge June as a Elder and Adult Abuse Awareness Month. So I want to thank you for this proclamation. This is something we do on an annual basis to really take a moment and acknowledge that while we serve many in our community, we are also about protecting our seniors and our elders. And in front of you are purple ribbons, thank you, lost the word, to acknowledge this month. And I'm going to hand this over to my team, but I wanted to take a moment and acknowledge our staff. We have a team of 21 social workers and 3 supervisors who are our Adult Protective Services staff. Their manager, Angie, is with us, and so is their deputy, Oralia, whom I'm going to hand this to. We, on an annual basis, get a little over 5,000 reports of elder abuse, and those are evaluated and investigated by our staff, and last year, just over 1,500 were substantiated. We partner with many organizations, law enforcement, and our partners in Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging to provide services and connection and safety for our adults. So I'm going to hand it over to Oralia to do a little bit on this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Oralia Gomez here, Deputy Director for the Department of Social Services. I oversee our Adult Services branch, which includes our Adult Protective Services. And of all of these referrals, Sonia did mention that we had a good number of them that were substantiated. And just so that you understand what that means, it means that a 77-year-old woman whose son took over her home while she was in the hospital, even though there was a restraining order in place, was able, with the intervention and support of APS, to regain that home upon exiting the hospital so that she did not end up homeless. And also because of the funding that we offered through the Home Safe program, she was able to have many needed repairs made to her home that her son had caused, such as broken windows, punches into the wall, and a lot of other different things. It also makes a difference for someone such as an elderly man who, when we received the call, was found in a rat and roach infested room because his benefits had been taken from him by his family. Because of the interventions and supportive programs that we all support here and that we're all acknowledging today, this man was able to have his Social Security benefits returned to him, his EBT card returned to him, and we were able to help him to be placed in a safe living environment in a senior living facility. These and many other instances are the things that APS steps in and provides and support our elderly population. So it is with much appreciation that we extend to you for acknowledging and approving this proclamation to acknowledge Elder Abuse Awareness Month, which is June. We have today with us Valley Resource Caregivers, and we also have FMAAA to help us. They are our partners, and this work cannot be done alone, but more can be accomplished when we work together as a team. So thank you. I'm going to hand this over now to Hillary Bennett with FMAAA.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm Hillary Bennett, Program Director for the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging. On behalf of Executive Director Jamie Sharma, we'd like to thank the Fresno County Board of Supervisors for this proclamation. We are here in partnership with Jessica Diaz and the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, and also with Sonia Bouget and Deputy Director Aurelia Gomez in the Department of Social Services. According to the California Department of Aging, the mission of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program is to seek resolution of problems and advocate for the rights of residents of long-term care facilities. The goal is to ensure the dignity, quality of life, and quality of care. The Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging is happy to partner and support Valley Caregiver Resource Center as they hold elder abuse prevention and education trainings throughout the community and provide community education services to the public. We must increase the awareness of elder abuse and identify the rights of the individuals in skilled nursing facilities and the residential care facilities. Knowledge is power, and adding an additional layer of information and education to elder abuse is proclaiming June as Elder Independent Adult Abuse Awareness Month. Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging is grateful for this proclamation, and we are committed to preventing elder abuse and will stand up and say something for those who can't do it themselves. Thank you for this proclamation. Jessica Diaz.
Good morning. As Hillary stated, my name is Jessica Diaz. I am the supervisor of the Fresno Madera Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, part of Valley Caregiver Resource Center. First, our agency wishes to thank the Fresno County Board of Supervisors for this proclamation. The role of an ombudsman is first and foremost a resident advocate. My team of volunteers investigates reports of elder abuse from residents of licensed long-term care facilities who are suffering from neglect, isolation, physical abuse, and financial abuse. It is estimated that approximately 1 in 10 elderly Americans are abused annually. However, many of those who are abused suffer in silence, and many cases are never reported or brought to light. In the past few years, while the pandemic isolated all of us to different extents, especially when the isolation felt by too many older adults, All of us have had a role to play in preventing elder abuse and ensuring that our county seniors are able to age with dignity. The Fresno Madera Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program currently covers 10,000 Fresno and Madera County residents. With 37 skilled nursing facilities and 214 residential care for the elderly, our goal is to educate and empower residents to recognize when their rights may have been violated. Victims often suffer from multiple abuse, from abuse at the hands of their own abusers. The state of California recognizes 8 types of abuse, which for self-neglect, physical abuse, neglect by others, sexual abuse, financial abuse, mental abuse, abandonment, and etc. Within the past year, the Ombudsman Program itself has investigated over 800 cases. Elder abuse cannot always be prevented, but concerned adults can take steps to reduce an older person's risk of abuse by not missing the signs, such as depression, fear, helplessness, social isolation, and unexplained weight loss. Education empowers them and gives them the confidence to see something, say something when the need arises. Change will only happen when we are willing to acknowledge that abuse is occurring and that it's up to us to do something about it. Together we can make a difference and ensure that we can take care of those who have taken care of us. We must remain steadfast in our commitment to preventing elder abuse. We are most grateful for the Board of Supervisors recognizing our community and their efforts and awareness. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor Brandel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and a couple things I'd like to add. I do serve on the board of the FMAAA, which does great work, and very proud of getting us through the pandemic, which was very challenging. But the challenges didn't end, and this last week I took a meeting over at DSS with Aurelia and the Sheriff's Department to talk about some of the concerns over elderly abuse. And so there's always challenges. I appreciate all the hard work that you folks do to make sure that our elderly are taken care of to the best that we can provide for them. So thank you very much.
Supervisor Magzig?
Yeah, just to follow up on some of those comments. So I too got to be part of that meeting last week at the DSS facility and really appreciated the opportunity to meet many in that particular building. Was it building 3 or building 5? Yeah, building 3 that we were in. And having that meeting with deputies, hearing about the cases that they're working on, as well as different staff that work with some of the most vulnerable in our community. So I really appreciate all those efforts. And many times there's great work that's done in the county of Fresno, and most of it is done without anyone even knowing. But there are lives that are impacted, and really appreciate our staff going above and beyond in the Department of Social Services.
Sanjay, I've got a quick question. Is there like a hotline number, like we have it with 911, where somebody can call and report the elder abuse?
Yes, we have a 24-hour hotline for both child abuse and for elder abuse. And that goes directly to our staff, staffed by our social workers during the day, and then we have after-hours coverage by our social workers and an answering service.
Okay, are we doing enough to let folks know, as far as visibility goes, billboards or something like that, to
So
let
that's-
folks know where they can call, because population's growing and so is the elder population.
We can certainly do more to educate, so that's part of our partnerships. Education laws changed just in last 2 years about the age and that people can report when it comes to elder abuse. So we can do some more when it comes to education and intervention. Part of it is people report, but law enforcement, room and board facilities, any kind of facilities where adults are, anybody really can report, and then we investigate. But we can do some more when it comes to spreading the information. We get calls directly from law enforcement and from others. So 911 is also, could be called, right, depending on the urgency of the situation. But we can follow through to make sure that it's more public.
Thank you, and thank you for the job that you're all doing. And with that, is there any comments from the public? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to proclaim June 23rd, 2023 Elder and Dependent Adult Abuse Awareness Month.
Second.
Second.
Okay. We have a first and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please come forward.
Easy now.
Dang. So are you the new director now?
I'm one of the program directors, yeah.
As usual.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, likewise.
We now move to item number 5, under Supervisor Magsick, adopt a resolution recognizing the 25th anniversary of Project Survival's Cat Haven.
Supervisor Magzick.
Yes, and here with us today are representatives from Project Survival Cat Haven, and I'd like to ask them to come forward this time. Dale, I know, is here. And I've had the pleasure of taking my boys when they were small up to the Cat Haven and just enjoying that beautiful property where you have over 30 cats from all over the world. And what I love about this property so much, and the fact that it's been in Fresno County operating for over 25 years, is it's more than just a place where you can go to see cats. You go to actually learn about them, and kids get excited about these cats and preserving their habitat. And so the work that Dale has done here in Fresno County is incredibly significant. I know that you've changed the lives of my boys. I did a video several years ago just of the great work that you're doing there. And can you tell us a little bit more about what 25 years means and maybe what the future holds for the Cat Haven?
Sure. It's funny, I feel a little insignificant when you have elder abuse and public works in front of you that way. It's like, okay, we just work with tigers and lions. It's a little bit different situation. But when I was in 7th grade, a guy brought a mountain lion to my class. And ever since then, I wanted to do something with cats. Really, I wanted to have one as a pet. California doesn't allow you to do that. They say you have to have a reason to have a cat, and you have to have 2 years experience working with cats before you can do it. So I was an airline pilot and was able to work my schedule around, get my experience, and we decided to open the Cat Haven. And like I said, this will be 25 years. That experience I had as a kid spurred me on to see if we could do more things to help kids understand more about cats around the world, what we need to do to help save them environmentally. And so we've done education programs where we take cats out to schools, and then we also have programs where kids come to the Cat Haven and are educated there also. I don't know how many kids we've done over the years, but it's kind of scary. I was in the hospital for a procedure the other day, and the nurse came up to me and said, "Oh, I was at your place when I was a kid." And it's like, oh, that's makes you feel old at that point. But we have volunteer base up there. We're a 501c3, so we're all privately funded. And we do conservation work all over the world, and that's the difference between us and a lot of other places. We work on 30 different continents with about 15 different projects. And so little Fresno County, in a sense, has a reach all over the world with what we do, from snow leopards in the Himalayas to cheetahs in Africa to jaguars in Brazil. We've been doing work like that for like the 25 years, and hopefully we continue with this. I did a video here. I'm going to show you a little bit here of people haven't been to the Cat Haven. And can see we have our facility and our cats. Nathan said we had 30 cats. We actually have 40. So, and then we have, I guess my voiceover is going here, but we've taken cats out to schools and done programs that way.
Off-site programs. Kids help raise money through our Coins for Cats program to send overseas. And we help projects like Suzanne Garrison, the Wanaduma Children's Project in Kenya, and Ingala and others.
Project Survival, and congratulations to your 25th anniversary. Thanks for helping cats and for supporting conservation, including Cook Lion's work on human lion coexistence here in Ngorongoro, Tanzania. big congratulations to you. Hi.
Hi everyone at Cat Haven. Congratulations on 25 years of saving cats and cheetahs in Africa. From everybody at the Cheetah Outreach Trust.
I'm gonna move this.
My name is Dr. Elena Chelshua. I'm the founder of the Marameru Cheetah Project.
Them protect their livestock better.
Snow leopards. I'll give you my friend Ricardo here.
Hello, how are you? My name is Ricardo Moreno from Yaguara Panama Foundation. Congratulations, Project Survival, for your 25 years helping cats. Thank you very much because you are helping us here in Panama to save the jaguar, the big cat of my country, and at the same time helping the other species of wild cats here. Thanks very much, and I hope you have long, long life. The best for you guys. Thanks a lot. Arriba el jaguar.
And then my good
Hi
friend.
everyone, I'm Ronaldo Morato from Brazil. I'm here to celebrate the anniversary of Cat Haven. 25 years helping to preserve and conserve white cats in the world, and mainly supporting projects and conservation of jaguars in Brazil. Thank you so much, Cat Haven. With all the support you gave us, we were able to better understand the ecology of the jaguar, and with this information, planning the species conservation. Thank you so much, and we hope this partnership lasts forever.
Our conservation partners point out the importance of what we do, but there's also some fun perks with the job. We get to do music videos and model shoots and get to hang out with some pretty cool people. The cats are always the stars, and they're the ones that drive the inspiration, but all this stuff does not take place without the help of the people of the Valley and Fresno County where we're located. We appreciate you guys so much. From my staff, myself, and Wendy, thank you so much for 25 years. Anyway, so that's what we do. And I appreciate Fresno County for everything that they've done for us. And like I said, the Valley and everything's been so appreciative for what we do. I just wish we get more people knowing we're there and doing what we do. So thank you.
Dale, thank you. And when the time is right after the public comment period, I'll make a motion.
Any comments from the board?
Yes,
Supervisor Brandon.
Dale, you're doing a great job. In the opening of that video, you showed a number of cats real quick. Was one of them a Pallas cat?
Palace.
Yeah.
Palace cat, yeah.
You have one of those cats at the
Yes.
Haven now, right now?
Yes, I do.
How long has that cat been there? Like, not,
7 years.
okay, well, because I have not met that cat. Just this last week, Bernice's staff and I watched a video about the Pallas cat. It's the cat that lives at the highest altitude.
Small cat at the highest altitude. Snow leopards live at a higher altitude.
Oh, okay.
It's the smallest cat, or the highest altitude small cat there is out there.
So its fur is so thick, I wouldn't have thought that it would have survived California's heat.
All these, it's like snow leopards. I had a lady one time said she was making her life mission to shut me down because we had snow leopards here in the Central Valley. And I said, if you talk to Dr. Jackson, who you saw part on the video, snow leopards found the Gobi Desert where it's 102 degrees. So cats adapt. If they have shade, they adapt.
Okay.
And he adapts just like any other cat does at that point. But their fur is dense. They can lay on ice and not have it penetrate the skin at that point.
Pretty amazing.
And just one other note, just because it's interesting, we're the only facility in the country that I know of that have all the big-bodied cats on display. So lion, tiger, leopard, jaguar, cheetah, snow leopard, cloud leopard, and mountain lion. And I don't think any other zoo, not even San Diego, because they might have cats, but they don't always have stuff on display. We're the only ones that have all those cats on display.
Well, I need to come back up and meet this Pallas cat.
Yeah, he's a grumpy boy.
I might bring my cat, my house cat. If my cat got in a tangle with one of the leopards, my money would be on Speckles.
Yeah. Well, if you talk to my staff and you say, hey, we got something to do with the tigers and something to do with the Pallas cat, everybody goes, we'll take the tigers. Nobody likes messing with the Pallas cat. He's just a little
Good
sharp
job.
little guy.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Okay, seeing none.
I'll move for approval of this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 6.
Oh, we got a picture.
Oh, that's right.
Well, we'll take it, and we can send you what we take, if you like.
That'd be great.
They'll just see,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
just see David. He took a picture. He'll send it to you.
Okay. You guys gotta come up and see us.
Thank
if
you
have it.
again.
And definitely come up. Let us know, because then we'll get, he's sometimes a little bit tricky, but. Yeah, let us know.
We now move to item number 6 under Supervisor Pacheco, proclaim May 2023 Community Action Month in Fresno County.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's my pleasure to proclaim the month of May Community Action Month in Fresno County. This proclamation celebrates community action agencies such as the Fresno EOC and their dedication to the communities which they serve. Community action connects people to services, promotes economic stability, and delivers important services to help families and children succeed. Here today to accept the proclamation is Fresno EOC CEO Amelia Reyes and COO Michelle. Amelia, would you please come forward?
First, I would like to thank all of you, the County Board of Supervisors and the public, for appreciating and celebrating this month about the human aspect of this work. Community action agencies were created back in 1964, and Fresno EOC was one of the first of the 30 that were created back then. So we've been in existence for 59 years. Now we have over 1,000 throughout the nation, and Fresno EOC is the second largest in the nation. With that, that means we employ over 1,100 employees, provide 35 different programs that literally serve our underserved community. I want to start with the promise and the commitment of what community action agencies are all about. Community action agencies changes people's lives, embodies the spirit of hope, improves communities, and makes America a better place. We care about the entire community, and we are dedicated to helping people help themselves and each other. I am beyond grateful and honored to be standing here leading an agency that really serves the community, being a product of what Fresno EOC can do, from getting Head Start services at a very young age to getting summer youth employment and not having to work in the fields as a teenager, and as a single mom receiving women in health, women, infant, and children's services to be able to provide nutrition for my baby, my firstborn. With that, Fresno EOC is celebrating 58 years of having Head Start. And Head Start is 0 to 5. And this is not just about the child, it's about the families and providing them the resources that they need. This month is also Older People Month. What is that? We provide services for seniors. So not only do we provide meals for our seniors, we provide transportation, home care, and volunteer work to ensure that they're connected to their community. So needless to say, it was humbling for me to walk in and see former employees from Fresno EOC, and actually see one up there right now. Supervisor Magzig, basically I want to thank you for creating our energy program. And people don't know, Fresno EOC also provides energy assistance. So we help with PG&E, and we provide weatherization for our homes, and also solar for our people that are eligible to receive services. I want to commend all of you today because people forget about the human aspect of this work. When the pandemic hit and we were shutting down as a community, as a nation, our employees, our work tripled, because our seniors still needed to get fed, our individuals needed to get tested, they needed to get vaccine, they needed to get food services, and they needed to ensure that they were surviving. And the fact that you can appreciate them today 59 years in existence, and we're continuing this hard work. I can't commend you enough for thinking and understanding the value of our employees. And so right now, most of our employees are either in the classroom or serving our community. We were lucky to have some of them come today, and I want to recognize them right now. So Fresno EOC employees, I know you're here, so please stand up. Did they leave already?
Oh, there they are, yeah.
And thank you all again.
Do you want to introduce your staff?
Yes, right now, I'd like to introduce our Chief Information Officer, Greg Streets. If it wasn't for him, we would not have been able to go remote within like a 2-week period. We know we all appreciate our IT infrastructure now more than ever. And then our Chief Program Officer, who helps with our employment training, our health, our prenatal care for services for our mothers, and everything other than Head Start. Then I have our Chief Operating Officer, who helps with the day-to-day work as we continue to move this work forward to ensure we're serving our community as best as we can. And then I have my right hand over here, Karina Perez, which is my Chief of Staff. If it wasn't for her, I would not even be able to get here on time. So thank you, Karina.
Apparently she needs a little more work on that one.
Okay. I'll open it up to comments from the board. Supervisor Magzik.
So Greg, it seems like yesterday we were celebrating 50 years at EOC, and then you blink and it's almost 60. So I want to tell just a couple of quick stories. The first one is this on weatherization. So a few weeks ago, my office received a call from someone who had a hot water heater that went out, and they go, "Is there anything the county can do to help?" And I said, "Unfortunately, no. However, there is an organization that can help you with your weatherizing your home and taking a look at that hot water heater." So that constituent, actually, I spoke with her yesterday, and her home is being weatherized. But on another note, of all the great things that EOC does in Fresno County, another issue that happened a few months ago in my district was individuals in my district having to boil water. And there were a lot of senior citizens that didn't have the ability to make this long drive into the city to get bottled water. And so I made a call to Gilda Araguin, and Gilda sprang into action. And within 48 hours, we were having one of the largest water distribution events where EOC workers from the local Conservation Corps and other entities were out there delivering bottled water to senior citizens. And I want to say there was something like 900 people that received benefit of EOC's quick response. So there's over 30 programs. I tell a lot of people, they go, "Oh yeah, I've heard of Fresno EOC, or, isn't it Head Start or WIC?" I go, "Oh, it's so much more." So thank you for your work. And I look forward to the day that you'll be able to stand before us and say that Fresno EOC is the largest community action agency in the nation again. But here very soon, I'm sure we'll get there. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. I just want to thank you for the work you do, and you're one of the agencies I know that touches every corner of Fresno County, and it's much appreciated, all the great work. So with that,
Go out to the public.
anything from the public? Any comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion, and I'd just like to accentuate what Supervisor Maxig said. I think after all the agencies in the county of Fresno and all our departments, the Fresno EOC is the second largest agency in the entire county of Fresno that directly goes out and helps people and affects their daily lives. And again, I'm proud of Amelia and her team and all that they do to help the residents of the community. During the pandemic, we partnered with them on very multiple of projects, and they were successful. And with their assistance, they reached a lot of people. And again, I want to extend my appreciation for that and make a motion that we proclaim May as the Community Action Month in Fresno County.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Amelia, good to see you. Good job. Good job. Good morning. How are you?
Congratulations.
Good morning. Good to see you. Good job. Good morning, how are you?
Sean Reagan. Did I do that? Okay.
You're much better looking. No, don't tell him I said that. Good to see you.
Good morning, Jake. Yeah.
He's an old friend of mine, so that's.
Good job.
Yes, as mentioned this morning, item 7 was deleted and will return to your board on June 6th. We now move to the items that were pulled from consent. Supervisor Brandow pulled item 51 under Public Works and Planning. Approve and authorize chairman to execute standalone tax sharing agreement with the City of Fresno for California Willow Number 4 reorganization proposal.
Do we need to wait for somebody, or do you think? Probably not. Okay, probably not, right. So it's my understanding, and Paul, you might be able to help us on this. So this is an annexation situation with the City of Fresno, which we've had a little recent history about these annexations. So I'm essentially happy to do annexations, but I want to clarify a couple things for the record. This goes back to the former MOU that we had with the City of Fresno. So it's following those guidelines, is that correct?
It is. Good morning, Paul Nerlin, your CAO. So it's hard to believe this August it will be 3 years that we've been out. We have not had a tax sharing agreement with the City of Fresno, but this one-off tax sharing agreement is under the same tax sharing conditions as our prior agreement that expired in August of 2020.
And then during those conversations, we made a decision here at the Board of Supervisors that in future annexations, that whoever was going to do the annexing would have to take over the roads adjacent to that annexation. Is that happening in this situation?
That's correct. So that is one of the requirements when they bring a proposal forward, is that they are taking the right of way of the roads around it, that it's a contiguous annexation. And so that's what's happening in this situation here.
Okay. And then final question is, after we did a couple of one-offs, initially after the MOU and the tax sharing agreement was disbanded, we did a couple of one-offs, and then the City of Fresno declared we're not going to do any more one-offs. So apparently they've changed their mind on that. Have they already voted on this, or is this to be taken up by City Council?
No, my understanding, they have already voted on this, so now this is coming before your board. The only thing that would be yet to be done on this action would be the actual conveyance of the roads. There would be another action to come back to you to officially finalize that piece, but that is a requirement of this, is that they have to take those roads as part of this annexation.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be supportive of this today, and it's been sad that this situation has happened. But as long, if we're going to follow the former guidelines, I'm fine with one-offs. But what I don't want to see is where we're put in the role of picking and choosing. So as long as these parameters are met, I'm going to be supportive of any annexation that meets these requirements, not just picking and choosing. So I just want the public to know that.
Supervisor Pacheco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, for me, I have a little different perspective on that. We've only done one-off in 3 years. There's not been multiple, there's only been one. And that one was one that was in the pipeline, and the person got caught up in it, and I felt it wasn't his fault. And that's why after, I think, almost a year, that we went and did the one-off. And then as a part of that, it was to accept all the roads. I can, on occasion, do a one-off, but all the other cities have come to an agreement with the exception of Fresno. Is that not an accurate statement?
That's correct.
Or they're in the works?
They're in the works.
They haven't expired yet, so they're still...
We do have a couple that have expired, but they are expected to be brought back to your board under the same condition.
Yeah. So for me, I have an issue with this. I am surprised that it was on consent without any discussion of the board. That's why if Supervisor Brandow didn't pull it, I was going to pull it for that simple reason. These are significant. they're exactly the same as they were, and if it's good enough for one, why isn't it good enough for all? So why isn't that agreement done?
Well, I think I would say this, our position with the city is exactly what you see here. So in this case, in some ways, you could say it might weaken the city's position where they're coming in suggesting that this is not feasible. But in this case, we're talking about a housing development, 199 units. We're talking about property tax that is revenue for the county as well. So in this case, my suggestion to your board is that we look at it under the conditions that your board gave back when we did the Finucane annexation, which means that those conditions are met. They need to take the roads, which means it's contiguous planning. They're not going to be taking this road and not this road, which creates those city-county jurisdictional issues. This is one that makes sense, and so that's the reason that this is recommended today.
Well, again, I support all of those reasons. I think it's logical, but I think we should have a master agreement. And I don't think it's prudent on this board, as my colleague said, we're going to be in a position to pick winners and losers, and everyone in the county should be a winner if they would adhere to the agreement that's been in existence for decades, was a win-win for everyone. They can show numbers. Any good accountant can skew number to your favor, so they can show how they were maybe not getting as great of a deal. We can show numbers how we weren't getting as great of a deal. I wholeheartedly support the roads, but again, I don't want to be in the position of one-off. I think we should have a master agreement, and because of that, I will not support this item. And again, if any more would come forward, I would greatly appreciate of management that we come to the full board and not try and get it through on consent. I don't like that at all. So that's my only comments today.
I got a question. Now, the last one we did, or all the technical stuff is done, or is there still outstanding stuff out there?
They still have a piece of the road right-of-way maintenance that they need to take over, so it is not complete.
It's not complete now.
No.
How long ago was that?
No. That's been, I think, 2021, so they're behind the 8 ball on that last one.
Yeah, no, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nope. I wish Stephen and Bernard were here, because there's some other technical pieces I'd have them speak to, but that's what I would, and again, my posture with this is at the direction of your board.
Supervisor Magzig.
So just one of the things that I like about this is the conditions. If this is something that is approved by the board, there are conditions in here where they have to take over the roads, take over responsibility of basically everything, which I think is reasonable. So we're not left with pockets and different challenges in areas that's being completely developed out. So for me, I'm prepared to support it, but I can appreciate all the comments that my colleagues have made, and I too echo what Brian has said. It would be nice to have a master agreement, because then we would avoid these one-offs. So, but today I am prepared to support this. But this is in Sal's district, and so curious to see what Sal has to say as well.
And then just before that, Mr. Chairman, what's the urgency of this? Why is this one being a one-off? Who brought this forward, and why is this one different than everyone else? Why is this one coming to us? How'd that come to be?
Well, when you say different than any other ones, there's been no other proposed annexations that have come to us. So this is the only one. And I see, Bernard, you walked in. I want you to come on up for a moment. But I think number one, it met those conditions that we talked about at your board last time. It is a housing development that creates property tax revenue for the county. It does require the city to take those roads contiguously, and they maintain those roads. So to me, that's a win for Fresno County, and that's why it's being
Again,
recommended.
I don't dispute any of that, but why aren't we doing that for all of them?
Well, we don't have any others proposed at this point.
Again, we need a master agreement
We do.
that we can do all that on.
We do.
We shouldn't be
To
piecemeal.
your point, Supervisor, you're exactly right, because every time we do this, it takes resources from Public Works, resources from my office to do that, and every time we're doing that, it would be much better to have a master agreement in place already, so we do not have to do
The
this.
city is the one that chose not to renew the agreement. Now, they need this?
That's correct.
See,
It's
so
almost
for
3 years.
me, no, they chose to not renew the agreement, so we shouldn't be doing this until that agreement is renewed. All of the other cities have done that, or are in the process of doing that, we shouldn't have exceptions to the rule. We've done one, we don't need to make a habit of that, in my opinion. I respect everything my colleagues have said. I do believe it is good for us. For me, it's the principle over the issue.
He answered the question. Wait a second.
Bernard, yeah, maybe you could
Don't leave.
Don't go away yet.
speak about the, on the Fanuki annexation to Supervisor Mendez's question.
There's still some stuff outstanding.
There is. So when we did the Fanuki annexation about 3 years ago, that allowed the city to annex that area, there was a large area that was not included in the annexation. And so we put in there like a 2-year timeline for them to initiate. They didn't have to complete it, they just had to initiate it. They failed to meet that. I take it back, I want to say it's maybe June of this year, actually. We know they're not going to meet it. They've acknowledged that they've not started that process yet. And then in addition to that, there were some rights of way that they were agreeable to accept or acquire. Now, they are working through that process. It's not totally complete yet, but they are moving towards that. And then in this particular case, there is some additional right-of-way that we're asking them to take on.
Supervisor Branda?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So we have a lot of great comment, by the way. I was going to ask, can you give us an update? Have there been any recent talks about reestablishing the tax sharing agreement and the MOU, and where do those conversations lie at this moment?
There's been informal talks. I have a monthly meeting with the city manager, and most of those talks have been on other things that we can work together on that would get to that place, because at this point, she does not have the support of the city council to go into the conditions that we would need to go that forward. So I would not say that we're making progress at this point, but we have been talking informally, but not making significant progress.
Okay, so, I mean, are they cognizant that they are doing a one-off to make some developer happy, but unwilling to come to the table and under those same terms talk about making the entire community happy? Are they, I mean, are they aware there's just a tinge of hypocrisy in this?
I can't speak to that. What I can tell you is that I've got a very good relationship with the city manager where we can be transparent with one another, but I know for her, going back to the city council, she would not have the support of what I know, the parameters I have to get this deal done at this point. We've looked at other creative options to get there, but at this point, to something like this, I don't think, is, you brought up earlier, at one point they had said they don't want to do any one-offs.
Right.
You know, and so this was a change from that. I think that had more to do with the Fanuki agreement, had some other pieces to it that were different than what is typical. This one's a little more straightforward. It's simply taking roads that are contiguous to the annexation, so I think that was the reason that she felt comfortable bringing this one forward.
Well, Supervisor Pacheco's made a great point about, and Supervisor Mendez concurred, about the Fanuki project started 3 years ago, isn't even really done yet. So I'm prepared to do two things. And Supervisor Quintero, we haven't heard from you yet, but as long as the city is coming our direction and saying that they need this annexation, I'm prepared to support all annexations. By the way, it won't just be this one for this one person, but a different vote for the next person. For me, I will support these annexations, but I am prepared to continue the item to see if the previous annexation situations could be addressed and the county of Fresno gets some confirmation that the city's prepared to do what they said on annexation 3 years ago. I'm prepared to continue this item if that's also the will of the board.
And just to that,
Supervisor Brenda, I would support that. And again, I think you brought up some very valid points. It is a good deal for us, but it's the principle behind the matter. And CAO Neerland, while I appreciate your good relationship, she's not at the dais voting. As you mentioned, it's a council. So you can have all the agreements in the world, but until it goes before the council, it really means nothing.
no, I agree 100%.
So, yeah, so appreciate the relationship, but she doesn't have a vote in the matter.
Right.
So, but I would support the continuing of that, because I think they need to finish the previous one before we move on to this. Personally, I think that's a great suggestion. But if it's the will of the board to move it, and Supervisor Quintero, it's your district, I'm willing to listen to that. But I've made my point pretty clear. Thank you.
Well, County Council, regardless of whichever way the vote goes, I have to conflict out because I live right down the street at Willow and Butler. And this is California and Willow, so it's up to I will be abstaining on the vote, so.
If, on that basis, you should probably also leave the
I
dais.
can't hear you.
Oh. On that basis, you should probably also leave the dais.
Okay.
So he's recusing
The vice
himself.
chair will take over.
So Chairman Quintero is recusing himself from this item.
All right, so with that, any other members up here have comments they'd like to make?
If I can just make one.
Yeah.
So to the point Supervisor Brando just made, although I have verbal confirmation from the city manager that, and keep in mind, she's the third city manager since the tax sharing agreement has expired, so just to point that out. She inherited some of those things and has given me a verbal commitment, but I think, to your point, to get that in writing and a date by which that would be done is very reasonable. So just pointing that out.
Yep, I got to go out to the public. Any other comments from board members? Seeing none, anyone in the public wishing to comment on this item? Is the applicant here, the city of Fresno, to comment on this item? All right, I'm going to close the public portion, bring it back to the board. Board, what is your pleasure?
Well, I support Supervisor Brandau's recommendation, if he wants to make that, to continue the item until we get a couple of items worked out.
Well, I will certainly, that sounds like a reasonable thing. It sounds like we're kind of split right here at the moment anyway. So I'll make a motion to continue the item until we can have a conversation, something confirmed in writing that they are addressing the previous annexation from 3 years ago before we're prepared to move on. So that will be my motion.
And if I can add a suggestion, with dates certain by which they will be complete.
Okay, and what is a reasonable amount of time for that conversation, Bernard?
So the agreement required the city to do some community outreach. I think it identifies at least 2 community outreach meetings, and then to initiate the annexation with LAFCO. Again, it does not require that the property actually be annexed, because in this particular case, there are probably more than the number of minimum registered voters that would control that outcome, but it was just simply for the city to initiate and file the annexation with LAFCO. So I would expect it's probably still going to take at least probably a 90-day process to get through that public outreach period, get to LAFCO, file that application, and try to move it forward.
Are you guys comfortable with me adding 90-day limit?
Oh, I think we ought to give them even 120.
Okay.
A date uncertain.
Well, if you do that, that goes on forever. But if you would like to amend your motion, I would say do that now, and we'll see if we can get a second.
Well, my motion will include, give the city of Fresno 120 days to accomplish that. The work that needs to be done to the previous annexation, and then we'll come back and talk about this annexation.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, and what I'm going to do is a roll call vote, since we have one member that has left the room, just for the record. So Bernice?
Supervisor Brandau?
Yes.
Supervisor Pacheco?
Yes.
Supervisor Mendez?
Yes.
Supervisor Magsic?
Aye.
4-0-1, as chairman recusing himself.
All right, very good. We'll keep going, and we'll have someone go grab Sal, but we'll just keep rolling, so.
Sure. That concludes all our consent items that were pulled from this morning. We return back to your regular agenda. Item number 8, under Supervisor Brandau, conduct first hearing and take action to waive reading of its entirety and a proposed ordinance for the County of Fresno Ordinance Code amending Title 13, Chapter 13.24 to add 13.24.050, flags permitted to be flown at county facilities.
So quick question, did we do, and maybe I missed this, did we do the public information officer? They continued that, yep, see, I'm missing it. So we are on 8, so Sal, back to you.
Mr. Chairman, that's, yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, this is an item that we had discussed at our last board meeting pretty extensively, so I'm not going to give a lot of time to it today. The board gave direction to staff, and staff has come back with a prepared document. So this is about flag ordinance with the County of Fresno, and so I'm just going to go over in bullet points rather than detail. I've just noticed an increasing number of controversies involving specialty flags flown at government buildings. It creates a situation where the body makes choices of favoritism on who gets permission and who does not. I don't think that's a wise path to go for Fresno County. And so we directed staff at our last board meeting to review the procedures and come back, and there were no additional amendments given by my colleagues. And so a drafted ordinance would, and it's so short, I'm going to read it. For the purposes of this section, county facilities refers to county-owned or county-leased office space, yard, landmarks, or parks. And then only the flags of the United States of America and the state of California shall be permitted to be flown on the official flagpoles of county facilities. And then section 2, the ordinance code of the County of Fresno is hereby amended, deleting chapter 10, verse 28. That's the previous ordinance, which spoke to something completely different. So this would bring a very simplified flag ordinance, and it would eliminate the previous ordinance, which was quite confusing.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Now, is there any comments from the board? Supervisor Pacheco?
County Council, it seems Supervisor Brandow has clarified the conflicting ordinances in our previous discussion. Do you concur that all of that has been rectified with the current item that is before us?
Yes, it'll completely delete the prior ordinance. So it'll place this flag more in the facility section where it's kind of more logical to look for.
Yeah, because I don't believe the average person could even find that in the way it was listed before.
Right.
Okay, so again, you concur that this cleans up all that language?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments from the board? Supervisor Magzig?
Sure. And, I look at the times that we're in, and when I look at the flags that are being proposed here, both the state flag and the U.S. flag, as I think about both of those flags and how they were established and what those flags represent, I cannot think of any other flags that this county can fly that is more inclusive than those, because we are one United States of America and we happen to be California, so having an opportunity to, fly those flags, that includes everyone, and I think that's the goal of the board, so I appreciate the cleanup. Thank you.
You're good? Okay. And at this time, I will accept comments from the public. I'll reserve my comments till after the public speaks.
Hello, Mr. Chairman,
Dolores.
members of the board. My name is Dolores Huerta, and I'm with the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and we have offices here in Fresno County, and we do a lot of public benefit work here in Fresno County. And I'm just going to ask the board to vote this down and not pass this resolution. We know that Fresno is a very diverse community here. I think we are very fortunate in that respect. At the Central Valley, we have so many diverse communities that are represented here. And when any of these communities want to fly a flag and to commemorate whatever they want to commemorate, I think it is really nice to be able to affirm, to celebrate, and to acknowledge that we have such diverse communities here in this area. I think, well, prior to the last conversation, you had a very positive meeting here, actually acknowledging many of the good works that are being done here in Fresno County. So when an organization that is acknowledged to be an organization that is contributing to the community, that they do want to get their flag flown for one particular day, I think it's an affirmation, an acknowledgement that you do have these different constituencies here in the county. When the pride flag was flown at the city council a couple of years ago, it was amazing. There were hundreds and hundreds of people there. It was a very joyous celebration and an acknowledgement that in the community here, we do have LGBTQ community members in our community. And so I think that to be small-minded, we know that there's a lot of haters out there right now, that they would like to they would like to pretend that some groups of people do not exist or should not be acknowledged. And anything that this board can do to bring unity to the county, to bring people together, I think this is a very simple way that you can do this. And by passing this resolution, I think it's a very small-minded to say, no, only the American flag and the California flag can be flown. And you do have an alternate flagpole, where somebody's flag could be flown to acknowledge members of the community here in Fresno. So I would just say to you to vote down this resolution. Be open-minded. We need this now more than ever because we have so many groups out there that are promoting hate. And this organization here, representing the taxpayers, needs to be one that says, no, we are promoting friendship, we are promoting caring, that you care about the community and all the elements in the community. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dolores. Good to
You're
see you.
welcome.
Other comments from the public?
Yes, hi. My name is Hadar Maserlian. I'm a District 2 constituent, and I 100% endorse what Dolores Huerta just said. I also urge the county supervisors to reconsider this proposed flag ban, and if necessary, to craft a more considerate and inclusive policy. I would like to first thank the county supervisors for not doing this behind closed doors. There have been other issues to my Armenian community that have been done behind closed doors, and it really sends the wrong message. This past April 24th and other April 24th, which is a day commemorating the Armenian genocide, we regularly have flag-raising ceremonies that are a place of honor for our community, that most of you have been at those ceremonies, and most recently, Vice Chairman Magzik spoke very eloquently this year at that ceremony. And as I recognize that's a city facility, which is different than county facilities, all the concepts are similar. And what's overriding in this issue, the appearance of this issue, this proposal, is just like what Ms. Huerta just described. It's completely divisive. The optics of it are divisive. They're not an inclusive type proposal. And I have some prepared comments that I'd like to read. By the way, Mr. Magzik, my daughter raised the flag that day, both the American and Armenian flags. So, this has never been an issue with the county of Fresno. Never that I can think you could cite. This stems from previous issues that have come up in the city. But when the issue came up in the city of Fresno did the hard work and crafted an inclusive policy. The city's policy for a ceremonial flag raising must be sponsored by a city council member representing their district. It is the essence of a representational democracy. Other constituents are not required to support or participate. The council, I'm gonna try and be polite, but the county's proposal here is xenophobic and is not about policy or patriotism. At best, it's lazy and it's ill-informed. At worst, it's exclusionary, shameless, bigoted, election year pandering, and it's a slippery slope. As I said, I'm Armenian. I'm an American Armenian born in Fresno. This is the type of sentiment American Armenians and other American groups have been subject to since Fresno's inception. Mr. Chair, may I continue for another minute?
Yes.
I would like to offer a historical correction, Supervisor Brandel, that you sent to the Armenian
Mr.
culture.
Maserlian, address the board, not
I'm
the-
sorry. So there was a There was an email about this that was sent to the Armenian Cultural Foundation, and it was saying that I would like to, it is suggested that the Armenian flag could not fly at the United Nations because it was not a member of the United Nations. To be clear, there are many flags at the United Nations that fly next to the American flag, including the Republic of Armenia, because my cousin, Rafi Hovhannisyan, raised that flag in 1992 when Armenia became independent. The current county policy would not allow the flag. The current county policy would allow the flag of the Republic of Armenia to be raised. The proposed policy would not. And let's be clear, this isn't about Armenian.
Thank you, sir.
This is a
Appreciate it.
bigger issue of
Sir, I gave you
inclusiveness
extra
and
minute.
divisiveness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brent Burdine. Thank you for this opportunity. I came here today not expecting nor wanting to speak to the board, but I'm here to support the ordinance. I think it's proper. I think that the ideals of our nation and our state in and itself is an exclusive agreement. It's a compact between the government and the people for all of us to be treated equally as equal citizens. It's meant to be applied for everybody and to embrace everybody. Anytime we deviate from that, we're going to be exclusive. We're going to be excluding people. When we elevate somebody, we push somebody away. When you pull somebody in tight, we disenfranchise somebody else. These are the only two symbols of our nation, of our state, that bring all of us together equally. And there's other ways to acknowledge organizations, peoples, races. I was at the Armenian flag raising myself. And there was, and I acknowledge that and I support that. There's other ways to go about it that the county can do. It's not just about raising other flags and symbols. And also worry about if we create a flagpole that is going to be basically a free speech area, then, well, it becomes a free speech area. And, well, we have constitutional protections for free speech, and you guys are going to be picking and choosing who has free speech and who doesn't, because there are going to be offensive symbols that somebody's going to like or dislike or going to be offended by, somebody's going to support. And it's going to be just an ongoing issue. So I would support the ordinance that's been proposed. It sets it out pretty clearly. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name's Pam Whalen. I'm with the Community Alliance newspaper, and we have been working for the last 9 months to implement a series of town halls to stop the hate. We live in an environment right now where there is a tremendous amount of hate going on in our country, and I really wish that this board would take a responsible position to stand with us and the many, many community organizations that are involved in this process. We have seen recently an attack on a church that was open to LGBT members and hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage done to that church. I would hope that this board would stand in opposition to that kind of activity. We have in our town halls been able to have the participation of the Department of Justice of California, the U.S. Attorney General's Office, and the FBI in helping us educate the community on how they can report hate incidents and hate crimes and come forward to fight this hate in our community. And I would, hope that elected officials would send the right message that we do not support hate. And, I know There is a difference between a hate incident and a hate crime. But you are, by taking this position, saying that people who are victimized by hate, you do not stand behind them. You do not stand to make sure that everybody is protected. And what the law enforcement have told us is an attack against, a hate crime is attack against a community, which is saying that community is not legitimate and does not belong here, and it is okay to commit hate crimes against that community. So I know there's a lot of pressures going on in the political arena, but I would hope you would put the safety of our community ahead of your own political ambitions. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I had no expectation to speak today. I was just here to listen. But I just wanted you guys to know that my name's Tammy Richardson, by the way. I support you, what you all are doing, 100%. Coming from a long line of military family being raised on the base in Lemoore, I don't think there's anyone more patriotic than I am. I think that the American flag and the California flag represents everyone here, as you've stated. I think that you become having to pick and choose, and which would cause controversy and divisiveness by displaying different flags. I think the way that we can be the most inclusive is to have our American flag and our California flag. And I just support you guys 100% on going forward with that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the public?
I'll say something. I wasn't planning on saying anything, but my family's also military, and I disagree with a lot of things you guys said. And I do support you guys also, but I believe the people that spoke first were correct in what they said. Thank you. And my name's Israel Ramirez.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rose Wynn, constituent of District 5. Just hearing the dialogue today, I wanted to quick comment that I support your resolution. I think the United States flag and the California flag encompasses everybody who resides as a citizen within the United States and California. You are all representatives who are elected by citizens of California and the United States, and so therefore our government buildings should not seek to draw up areas of exclusivity or division, but should demonstrate prominently what unites us all, and that is our citizenship as Californians and of the United States. If you were to keep the ordinance open to fly other flags, it might be important for citizens to keep in mind that there are hundreds of different special interest groups that would want to fly their flags. Christians, veterans, prisoner of war flags, many that others would probably find offensive. October is National Pastors Month. Why would we not fly the Christian flag in that month in order to honor pastors in accord with many constituents, hundreds of thousands of constituents in Fresno County who identify as Christian? And then if you fly the Christian flag, do you then need to fly the Muslim flag or the Marxist flag? It does just open up very muddy waters that I think only complicate things further. And so I respect and agree with your very clearly written resolution that simplifies everything, demonstrates how we are united, and what we're really all here to accomplish and embody as citizens of Fresno County, California, and the United States. So I would urge you, with full compassion and understanding for all the different views that people hold. I myself have views that maybe other people wouldn't agree with, but I don't know that I need to fly a flag on a county building or park or leased property in order to demonstrate my views. I can fly my flags on my home property, or perhaps at the organization of a group that I'm a part of that also embodies those views. And so you're not excluding people from flying their flags in a variety of places where they already have those existing rights as citizens. You're simply making it very clear where the county's position lies and what the county represents. So I support you all. Thank you.
Okay. Any more comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the dais. Wanted to make a few closing comments before we make a motion and take a vote. And some of the comments that were made that is the causing of being divisive, and other comments said about being inclusive. And you look around Fresno County and what it represents in terms of the diversity and the celebration of diversity. Even here at the courthouse, we have a statue honoring the Armenian community through the statue of David of Sassoon. We have a statue of Benito Juarez out here on Tulare Street. There's also a statue of Dr. Martin Luther King, and as well as a monument honoring the Hmong veterans. Included in those statues throughout Courthouse Park is the statue of three pastors, and they were known in the 1960s and 50s of hosting a radio program preaching and discussing unity with reaching commonality in that. And but they also taught us what they were preaching about was respecting each other's positions. And the thought is that that for me, you know, in supporting our brothers and sisters in what we do, really at times doesn't lie in monuments, flags, or anything like that. It's more, it's what lies in our hearts and what we show on a daily basis. And Ms. Huerta, you spoke about friendship and caring. You're absolutely correct about that, but also comes into play is being able to agree to disagree and respecting each other's beliefs. There's also, I applaud Mayor Dyer for setting up Eaton Plaza to have any type of celebration that had to do with flags. So there's already existing places throughout Fresno County that these can be had to show support and attend celebrations. I'm going to go ahead and support this first reading today, and look forward to the fair and adequate summary of the proposed ordinance on that. So, with that, those are my thoughts and thinking about what we already have and celebrate what we have in our community. So, with that. I'll I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve this item.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'm not even going to read it again. I'm going to make a motion as presented in your board packet today.
And the next hearing, Supervisor, will be on June 6th, 2023.
Yes, at our next board meeting.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Okay. We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
We now move to item number 9 under Public Works and Planning. Consider petition for partial cancellation of agriculture land conservation contract number 152 filed by Patrick W. Sample and Georgia J. Sample Family Trust to remove a 2.4 acre portion of a 42.93 acre parcel from the Williamson Act contract to allow the creation of a 2.41 acre parcel for residential use.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This item comes to your board as a recommended item from the county's Agricultural Land Committee, I should say. The ALCC, or Ag Committee, considered this item on November 9th of 2022, and they voted to recommend denial to your board based on the inability to make findings 2, 3, and 5. Just to boil it down, the proposal really comes down to the proposed size of the parcel. It meets the home site exception provisions included in the ordinance and the general plan, but being that it's under Williamson Act, the size requirement is 10 acres. That's a requirement from the state. So I have nothing further to add other than that.
Supervisor Magzig?
So this particular roughly 2.5 or 2.41 acre piece, it's being proposed to be carved off of this 42 acre piece. There are structures on site, and I think the only place where there generally are structures, I think there might even be a mobile home that's on this particular property, are located in this 2.41 acre site, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And I know that the last board that looked at this, they couldn't make those findings because it's very clear that, you know, in the rules that they have to follow, so it makes it challenging. And to the extent that we can provide more flexibility in the future, I think that would be beneficial. So I would like to hear from the applicant. It's not my role to make findings, but I would like to hear from the applicant if they're here about if they believe they can make the findings for 2, 3, and 5.
We'll say the applicant received a notice and a verbal reminder yesterday. I don't know if they're present in the audience. I do not see them.
Well, I'm done for my comments now until the public, if the public has any comments.
Any comments from the public? Okay. Supervisor Magzig, we'll bring it back to the...
Yeah, so again, for me, it's not my job to make findings. I listen to public comments to see if findings can be made. So I would suggest on this, I would move that we hold this item over for 30 days, make contact with the applicant, and let them know that it's, at least from the county standpoint, it's critical that 2, 3, and 5, the findings for 2, 3, and 5 can be made. Hear from them if they can submit something to us in writing, or more appropriately be here for the next meeting we have in regards to this in 30 days. That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion passes.
Wait, I vote no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think they had plenty of time, and if they really wanted it, they should have been here. So I vote no.
4-1 with Supervisor Pacheco voting no. We now move to item number 10. Under the Administrative Office, conduct public forum in accordance with Government Code Section 7283.1D. Receive statistical report from the sheriff regarding the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement access provided to incarcerated individuals in the jail during 2022 and receive public comment.
Good morning, Chairman Quintero, members of the board. John Zanoni, Fresno County Sheriff, here regarding our SB 54 report for the year 2022 regarding the Truth and Values Act and turnovers that the Sheriff's Office at our jail had to the Immigration Customs Enforcement of the United States government. Have you all received the report?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the package, yes.
Do you have any questions regarding the report?
Well, finish your presentation, then we'll bring it to the dais. Thank you.
Okay. So in 2022, there was 23,407 bookings into the Fresno County Jail. We received 128 ICE detainers or holds. The actual number of individuals interviewed by ICE was 0, and the number of transfers to Immigration Customs Enforcement was 18. If you look on the page of the summary, you'll see that out of the 18, 14 were crimes against persons, 1 involved a sex crime. We had 1 property crime and 2 felony drug-related crimes for the total of 18. All of those crimes were felonies, and they were in accordance with Government Code Section 7282.5 and the fact that they were turned over to Immigration Customs Enforcement.
That's it. Okay, with that, we'll return it to the dais. Or is there any comments, questions from the board? Supervisor Magzig.
Just some general comments, just looking at the crime category. So you've got 14 crimes against persons, and so I would imagine that typically when law enforcement gets involved with something like that, it's more than just a fist fight. Is that fair to say?
Yes, many of those crimes against persons would have been under Penal Code Section 273.5 of the California Penal Code, and that's corporal injury to a spouse, a cohabitant, or someone that you have a certain type of relationship with. And those crimes, in order to be charged with that, have to have serious bodily injury, not just a slap or a red mark, typically a bruising or something significant. Other crimes included intimidating a witness, which is under Penal Code Section 136.1, and then there was several felonies under Penal Code Section 236, which is false imprisonment with violence. So those, I believe, yes, those round out the crimes against person category that you referenced, Supervisor Magsic.
And then the sex crime, what was involved with that, like human trafficking or what?
For the sex crime, it involved California Penal Code Section 288A, which is commonly referred to as oral copulation or something to do with a minor under the age of 18 years of age.
Okay. And then the felony drug, you had two there. Fentanyl, what kind of drugs are we talking about? Was it cartel related? Do you have any info on that?
So one of that we had was HNS 11378, which was possession of methamphetamine for sale. So that's just not simple possession for your use. That's actually transporting or trafficking a large amount of methamphetamine that you're intending to sell within the community. And then the other one we had dealt with Penal Code Section Health and Safety Code Section 11370.1A, which is when you have methamphetamine in your possession or fentanyl or some type of drug that is typically a felony, and you're also in possession of a firearm.
Thank you.
Okay. Any comments from the public? This is, this particular item, no motion is required. Agenda item is to receive statistical report from the sheriff and receive public comment. And seeing that there's no public comment, thank you, Sheriff, for your presentation. We'll move on to item 11.
Item number 11, Board of Supervisor Committee reports and comments.
Supervisor Mendez, any reports or comments? Sure.
District 4 lost two community members and farming icons last week. Richard Schultz of Riverdale Borough area and Juliet Campus from Carruthers. Supervisor Pacheco and I will be sponsoring a formal adjournment in memory at the next board meeting. I participated in the Kingsburg Swedish Festival Parade last weekend, and will be in the Kalinga Horn-Toad Derby Parade this coming weekend. Well, that's what it's called, Dan. I can't help it.
I just want to know if you ate any lutefisk at the Swedish.
No, I did not, and I didn't see any either. I want to thank Rosalie Rosa for providing a car and also driving me in the parade, and she actually, I do 9 parades with Rosalie, and if she can't do it, members of her family will drive me, so.
That's good.
And she has a lot of, she has 3 kids and a whole bunch of grandkids, so they all want to drive me, so that works out pretty good.
Supervisor Magsic?
I have a couple of items. To begin with, last week, it was brought to the attention of the county about the dangerous situation along Kings River, which necessitated placing super sacks to help to preserve the embankment there along the Kings River and protect property. So I want to publicly thank Terry, who is our OES manager, who reached out to the state, worked with several different agencies, including the Kings River Water Authority, to get permission and coordinated all those efforts so those super sacks could be placed in the river. Also on Saturday, I got to be a part of a bicycle ride with Fresno Bicycling Club. I thought only 20 people were going to come out, but we ended up having over 50 people out just to enjoy a quick bike ride out to the corrals and back. Also got to participate in a powwow that was being put on by the Big Sandy Rancheria, and they recognized first responders. And they gave an award through my office to the county, just really appreciating what the county did during the Creek Fire. Our deputy sheriffs, of course, Public Works, and our Fresno County Fire Protection District. And there were stories that they shared where it was touch and go whether or not that fire was going to rush into Jose Basin and completely decimate the Big Sandy property. And the chairwoman there, Elizabeth Kipp, of course, got very emotional when she talked about that, because on one particular morning, she heard from one of the dozer operators that said they thought that day that fire was going to come down, but by the grace of God, the winds changed direction and Big Sandy was protected. So it was a moving ceremony. Many tribes came out for that. Many people from across the state and even out of state came. So it was good for my office to be there. And then on a more tragic note, on Sunday, I received word a little after 2 o'clock about 2 children that went into the Kings River near Pine Flat Dam, and unfortunately both of those kids lost their lives. And I know that the county's been working very hard to try to get messages out to the public, and the Sheriff's Department specifically has been doing this, just reminding the public to stay out of the San Joaquin River and the Kings River. But when I think about these 2 little kids, I have 3 kids of my own who are now getting older, but an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old who lost their life in such a tragic way. And Valley Children's Hospital yesterday reached out, and I know that Sonia is going to be working with them, and to the extent that we can place more signage along the river in multiple languages just to let people know how dangerous that situation is. I think we need to work with our media partners, do everything that we can to remind the public that, in a heartbeat, if you slip into that river, the water is moving so fast that, your life can be lost very quickly. But I just wanted to mention that, because anytime we lose someone tragic like that, it needs to be noted, and we need to do everything we can to try to prevent those. So that's all I have.
Supervisor Brandow?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this last week, I had the opportunity to go to a grand opening of Kingsview's brand new office in District 2. Kingsview is one of our partner providers that works very close with Fresno County Behavioral Health. They do a lot of stuff for us, but one of the things that they do, kind of a highlight, is they oversee our suicide call center. And there's suicide call centers operating across the country. But in this case, within 48 hours, they follow up, because a lot of times somebody will make a call and then they get instructions, go do this, or you could do this. But in this case, Kingsview has a follow-through program to really ensure that people's lives are being changed. And so we appreciate them, and it was great to be at their brand new office in District 2. Then I also attended, next 2 items are about Fresno Chaffee Zoo. About 2 weeks ago, my staff and I attended Butterfly Gardens. This is a temporary highlight that's happening at Chaffee Zoo. And there are butterflies from around the world that will be there for a short amount of time, and very impressive. It was really cool. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go to the grand opening of the Kingdoms of Asia, which is the brand new multi-million-dollar permanent exhibit at Fresno Chaffee Zoo. And so looking forward to, I know we had the Cat Haven in here earlier, but looking forward to connecting with a few tigers at the Kingdoms of Asia exhibit. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brandow. Supervisor? And you didn't have any comments? Okay. Also, last night we attended the California Restaurant Association, the Fresno chapter, their Oscar Day. For the best of the best in the Valley. And the Lifetime Achievement Award was given to the LaRocca family that they've touched and worked with a lot of other restaurants in the community. They worked with the Chicos, they had the LaRocca's restaurant, they own videos. So they made a big impact in our community, and a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. And then also inducted into their Hall of Fame was an old friend of mine, was Vince Papagni, who was a chef at Harris Ranch. And he started out in the community by opening up an A&W root beer stand in Coalinga, eventually became mayor there. And anyway, it was a lot of, it was a good time to recognize all the work that they've done. The association itself last night worked in taking care of, believe in taking care of their community. Recently, there was a news item where a Thai restaurant had been accused of selling food that was posted on the internet and everything that just accused them of all these deals, and they may be closing down the restaurant. But last night, some of the monies that was raised at the dinner, the Restaurant Association will be providing monies for them to help them restart their business if they choose to do that, but just help them out through the tough times, since that's their only source of income. And that's all I've got for that. Next item, clerk.
Item 12, board appointments.
Okay, Supervisor Magzik, none? None? Okay, I've got two appointments. One is to reappoint Joyce Fields King to Calviva Fresno Kings Madera Regional Health Authority. The second one is to appoint Jennifer Ann Monreal to the Behavioral Health Board. That's all, clerk.
I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we move on now to public presentations. Any members of the public who wish to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, please form a line behind the podium. You're limited to 3 minutes per person and no more than 15 minutes per topic. Any public present?
Hi, my name is Christina. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout at you. I just wanted to comment on what you just said. The name of the restaurant is Tasty Thai, and they did shut down. What happened to them is a hate crime, and we need to be using the right language. And that was all.
Thank you, appreciate it. Clarification.
Hi, my name is Jamie, and I'm an IHSS provider. I'm so glad that you guys proclaimed June Elder Independent Adult Abuse Awareness Month, because IHSS does help with that by keeping people out of long-term care facilities and in their home. I think that I'm the youngest IHSS provider here. I wanted to point that out because the older generation is just going to get older, and we need contracts that allow my generation to be excited about providing caregiving. The only reason that I'm a caregiver is because of my aunt. She got very sick last year. My mother was providing her care prior to this, but she was unable to do so. I was working as an administrative assistant, and I took a 25% pay cut to be her care provider. She raised me. I love her, and that's why I'm doing this. But you guys taking away health care from people who need it and putting that money back in will not make up the difference. People need the health care, and we need better wages. I just wanted to let you know that we do make a difference. It is palpable in the community, and its effects ripple through. Like I said, long-term care facilities are less burdened. My aunt was in a short-term care facility. I could see the abuse and neglect and the overwhelm there firsthand, which is another reason why I decided to step forward as her provider. And I just wanted you guys to be aware of all of that. The work that they do is so important, and to even think about taking health care away, especially when they've just received it, is crazy to me. Thank you.
Muy buenos días, señores.
Good morning, everybody.
Mi nombre es María Oliva.
My name is Maria Oliva.
Vengo de Mendota, distrito número 1.
Come from Mendota, district number 1.
Mi supervisora es
My
el señor
supervisor
Brian
is
Pacheco,
Mr. Brian
aquí
Pacheco,
presente.
here present.
Mi estancia aquí con ustedes es para recordarles
I would like to
a cada
remind
uno de
you,
ustedes
every one of you,
que por favor
Please.
miren un poquito más al
Just
fondo de nuestra situación.
take care a little bit about, think about our situation.
Es difícil cuidar a nuestros seres queridos,
It's very hard to take care of our loved ones,
pero así lo hacemos con cariño,
but we do
por
it with love,
humanidad,
with humanity,
porque tenemos que cuidarlos.
because we have to take care of them.
Ya no se pueden dirigir ellos por ellos mismos,
They
ya no
cannot,
trabajan.
they cannot work, they cannot, help themselves.
Entonces, pues lo que nos pagan se me figura muy poquito por
So,
tanto trabajo que nosotros
What we
hacemos.
get paid, it seems to be very, very little to comparing to the hard work and long work that we do.
Yo cuido a mi esposo por 20 años.
I have taken care of my husband for 20 years.
Solamente estoy en este grupo, en esta unión, 2 años.
I've been in this, a member of this union for only 2 years.
Yo no tengo ninguna aseguranza.
I don't have health insurance.
Nosotros pagamos taxes tal vez igual que cada uno de ustedes.
We pay taxes just like every one of you.
En comida, en ropa.
We have to pay food, clothing.
Entonces yo quisiera
So-
hacerles una invitación a su humilde casa.
So I would like to invite you to, go ahead.
A su humilde casa para que miren a la hora que yo me levanto.
To share, I would like to share what I do every day with you. I get up,
Levantarme a hacer su desayuno,
I have to prepare breakfast,
a estar al pendiente de su medicamento,
to be continuously watching medication that he gets.
a ayudarlo a asearse, a bañarlo.
I have to help him, have to bathe him.
Entonces, $16 la hora, $62 al mes, no se me figura justo.
$16 an hour, it doesn't seem to be fair for all the work.
Entonces, me gustaría hacerles una pregunta con todo el respeto
I would
que
like to
ustedes se
ask you a
merecen.
question with all my due respect to you.
Si a ustedes les alcanza 62 horas al mes,
If they only give him 62 hours a month, I would like to ask you,
si a ustedes les alcanza ese dinero o ese sueldo, esas horas, entonces muchísimas felicidades.
if you can survive working, getting paid 62 hours a month, then you're lucky, but we can't.
A mí no me alcanza.
I cannot make ends meet.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Hi, hello Board of Supervisors. My name is Dianisha Vincent, and I'm here as a member for SAIU. I've been a member for the past 6 months, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy working with my recipient, and the reason why I started this is because he didn't have nobody taking care of him, and would nobody do it for him. So I came forward, me as a friend of his, and I've become a good friend as well from working with him from the beginning, because he can't turn his wrist, he's broken them. So I enjoy what I do, and I please, I don't want you guys to take our health care away. This is the first time that I've actually had the ability to get something, from the county that I'm working for, And I appreciate what you guys give us, the $16.10 a month, but $16.10, but that's not even enough as well, because it's not doing anything for me. I come forward and I do my job every day like I'm supposed to. I'm on time. I do my dues, and I take care of my recipient like I'm supposed to, and like I want to, and like he asks me to. I even work for him at nighttime too. I go to his house and I take him baths, and I put his clothes on for him and everything. I'm always there for him. If you call me right now, I'll be there. Because that's my job, and I love him. Even outside the job, I do. More than just a friend. It's like words don't even. I can't even say what words to speak on that. But I love what I do, and please don't take our health care away, please. Thank you. I was nervous, but I don't know what to say.
Good afternoon. My name is Olga Valle, and I want to say I thank God for being here today. And I wanted to, I don't know if you can answer it, but I want to thank those of you who voted for a contract, the recent contract. And I know we're usually here to ask, and we are, but today I'm here not to ask for anything, but to thank you for signing our recent contract in the past. I want to thank you for really, for signing it, after finally signing it after so many years. And I know some of you are on the board that weren't here in those 9 years that it wasn't signed. But I want to let you know that those of you who signed it positively affected my family. We have a contract that says that only 2,000 members get the insurance. And those of you who need it and don't have it, you get on a waiting line, and it takes about 2 years. Well, my daughter waited 2 years, and she finally got the insurance. And 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, she was diagnosed with a tumor in her head, and she recently had brain surgery. And I want to thank you because you left that insurance, because it was on the table to be taken away. And although I didn't know this, I've been fighting for and asking for you to give everybody insurance when we start. Not everybody needs it, but those of them who need it, they need it. Because the test she needed, this had been a long, ongoing problem with her eyes. And she would go to the eye doctor, I would take her to the eye doctor thinking it was her eyes. And, they gave her glasses, but they weren't working. She was sensitive to light, and her speech was going also. And when they told her she needed surgery, for them to hurry your appointment for surgery, it's serious. And the specialist told her, you don't have a choice. You're going blind. You will be blind very soon because it was really affected. I don't know. I don't remember which one of you, and I thought it was all of you who voted yes on our contract. But I want to say thank you. Thank you, Brian Pacheco, because I know you're one of them. I don't know who else signed it. Sal, I think you were one. I want to say Nathan, but I'm not sure. But from the bottom of my heart, I don't know, buddy, you seem like you never signed anything for us. But you know what? I hope you did. And Mr. Brandow, I don't know if you were here yet, but thank you. Thank you, those of you. I appreciate it. My daughter's home. It was rushed and, chaotic, and I've been going crazy. I'm tired, but thank you, God, and thank you, because you were there. You stepped up. I know it was a hard decision, and it was maybe unpopular for what you do, but we need you. We need you to step up, because there's a lot of my bobbies. It's hard. When it's your daughter, we're not just numbers, but you guys can help with that, putting the numbers together and making it happen. We are there 24/7, really more, but thank you. Thank you for all of it, Please consider our new contract. And above all, we need the insurance. The insurance, the Medi-Cal and all that, that's just really hurting our county, because we go to Medi-Cal, but you can't work more than certain hours, and then your price of your insurance goes way up. There's a lot of issues with that, which I hope you guys take into consideration and kind of see how it could be worked out, so that we're not, using, I don't know if it's because we're using money from here or there, or how that works, but I'm sure you will look into it. But the main point, thank you. Thank you so, so much. I thank God for those of you who had that valor. Thank you.
now I changed what I was gonna say. You know, our insurance is like 2 years before you can get that health insurance. That's how long it is to get Kaiser. 2 years is taking, that's not right. I'm one of the fortunate ones that have a good retirement. I take care of my daughter, as you know, she has Down syndrome. And, but I worry about her future. Who's gonna take care of her when she's gone? It has to be a loved one. I'm not gonna put her in a nursing home. I know some of you have your parents in a nursing home, but it's a good tax deductible. But I'm not gonna do that, even if it's a good deductible. I hope, and I hear that they're gonna vote on that AB 1672. So we won't be coming over here if it goes through. But I know who voted for us and who was on your side. And just like my friend, our members, we appreciate you. You don't know how much. And I all wish you the best. And we are right now 20,000 care providers. We got the voting power. We elected our governor when they tried to get him out. Esmeralda Soria, Joaquin Arambula. So watch out, the ones that were not in our sight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Xochitl Lopez. Take care of my brother. 3 years ago, suffered a stroke. And when we put it in the rehab, the same day, they have pneumonia. They have to put it in the trachea. I work with him. I decided to bring with me at home, and it's 24/7, the care that my brother needs. I used to work in the hospital. Be honest, other than take care of my brother, and I do with all my love, all my good intention. I have bills for electricity because he have 3 machines, 1,700 for PG&E, and my salary that I receive, I can afford to pay my bills, be honest. I would like to you consider no yes or job, because it's a love, we do it with love, because it's my family. But I consider that we have another things to do, address, when we take care at home. I have 3 machines at home. I can pay my electricity bill. They helped me one time, the city, but they said no more. I would like to you consider or pay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Aló, buenos días. Mi nombre es Ofelia Ochoa, de la comunidad de Mendota.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ofelia Ochoa from Mendota community.
Siento que ya están un poco cansados de escucharnos,
I
pero
feel like you might be a little tired of listening to us every time.
pues más que nada venir a pedir de su apoyo y comprensión para los trabajadores de IHCs de cuidado en casa.
But we are asking for your help and for your support for the IHSS healthcare workers.
Creo que ya hemos dicho bastante de que estamos ahorita en las negociaciones, pero solamente quiero pedir de todo su apoyo.
I believe that we have talked a lot about saying that we're in our negotiations right now, new contract negotiations, but I just want to ask your support.
Y me gustaría, nuestro representante Brian Pacheco y a todos ustedes hacerles una invitación a mi comunidad.
I would like at this time to invite my district representative, Mr. Brian Pacheco, and all of you to come to my community.
En los logros que he tenido, van a tener van a abrir un parque para los niños especiales y me gustaría de esa manera estén más cerca de mi comunidad para que conozcan las personas que trabajan de IHCs.
And for you to learn about the successes that we had in the community, we're going to open a children's park. It's a handicapped children park, and we would like for you to come and see what the progress that we have done in our community.
Y pues más que nada el apoyo, más que nada porque necesitamos el aumento de salario.
And above all is we need your support because we need to, our salary raise.
Pues muchísimas gracias y pues solamente quería saludarlos y que tengan buen día y pues esperar su apoyo.
And thank you very much. I just wanted to say hi to all of you. I'm hoping to get your support.
Okay, muchísimas gracias.
Thank you
Que
Este,
very
Dios los
much.
bendiga.
Oh, may God bless you.
Is there anyone from the public wishing to address the board on closed session items 14 to 17? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Cedarborg, County Council, will we have anything to report out, or can we adjourn?
Mr.
following
Chairman,
session?
Mr. Chairman, we do not anticipate any reporting out on any of the items, so if the board chooses, it would be appropriate to adjourn following closed session.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all.